Let's do two more filters to see how we can actually use this a little bit more. But let's start with a constant, and we're going to do a active years. So we're going to be calculating from two sets of years. So for example, 1920s to 1980s or something like this, if they were active and things like this. So do this constant active years, and then we're going to be using again our constant up here, famous people, and we're going to be using our filter like before, and I'm going to be using this fat arrow notation way of writing it, and I'm just going to use the wording F person, so short for famous person. I'll just copy this because I'm going to use it a few times, and in here I'm going to use the fat arrow notation to create the function where it's going to test something. I actually just want to add a little bit more to this. Nope, I don't. I want to create a parentheses because I want to do a comparison first. So I'm going to use the F person here, and I'm going to use the active part. So this up here. So I'm going to check the active value. So there's something number, and that I'm going to set to if it's smaller or equals to 1920, I guess, and so both have to be true in this case, and the F person, like we had before, active, so we're doing comparison active, like this, is smaller than 1990. That's a good value, like this. Hit enter, save, and let's do a console log for this. Make that a new line, console log, and let's do active years. So check to see if who are part of something from 1920 to 1990. So let's change the value of 20 to 50, 60. So what does that mean? So we have now Ryan Reynolds and Elon Musk. So it checks between 1960s to up to 1990s. So those who have the correct value where this equals true will be shown. And we can just move around with this. So if this goes to 70s, I'm not sure anyone's will be there, because that's not part of it. It's doing a calculation if you're active between those 2 years, started being active. So something in the 60s, if we do the 50s to 60s, there should be at least one, and there's actually two. So this number here is between 50 and 60. This is where it started. So the start of their life, I guess, started in the 50s. We're just filtering those out that doesn't have this. So this is one way of doing, I'm going to expand this a little bit so we can see most of the code like this. So this is one of them. The other one I just want to show you is also with the constant here. Sorry, not the constant, the filter. And let's call this older than, like this. And again, using famous people for the array, we want to get all the data, and we're going to use a filter. So filtering things out. Guess what? We're going to use the same F person here. Just going to mark this one out so it doesn't do anything stupid. We're going to use the fat arrow notation like we did before. We're going to do some checks, and that would be first person, whoops, not famous person, first person, and we're going to do the end of the so to see if they're older, we need to have the calculation of a number so we can compare it basically. So we need a number subtracted by another number, and it needs to be a plus one. So the highest number first, which usually is the year, the last one over here, and then you subtract that by the lower number, so you get a positive number, of course. Then we're going to subtract this to first person. What is the other one? Active. Active in this case. Yes, and then we need to have that equals or smaller or higher than, let's go with like 80. So really old. So no, let's go low. Let's go 30 first. So show me all the people who are older than 30. 30 or older, basically. That's what I wanted to show here. And I made an error because I'm trying to print out active years, which is marked out. So let's switch the console log to older than. So there are right now 10 people who are older than 30 years old. Switch it, let's go 50. So 50 or older, 6 people. Let's go 80, who are older than 80 people. We got Dame Judi Dench, Fred Astaire, and Ginger Rogers. They are at the age of 80 plus. And this is, again, just a way to show you how you can filter things by doing different like calculations or comparisons and so on. So hopefully this will help you a little bit more understanding the filter. Now, I'm not going to do this, but you definitely should. Try to convert this line into what it would look like up here with creating the function by itself. So converting it back instead of converting it using the fat arrow notation. So typing it in so it looks more similar to this. That's the job for you right now.